Hey, this is Asha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And what I want to share with you in this episode is why your Facebook ads are not working. So stay tuned. I'm going to answer this question in this video and give you some big insight to mentality and psychology. All right, so if you're trying to use Facebook ads to generate revenue from your services, your products, affiliate income, if you're trying to promote anything, but they're not working, there's a big reason behind it. Back when I first started doing Facebook ads and I started doing any kind of advertising, I used to think of it as a single approach. And now as I look at things, I approach things a lot different. So let me share with you some insight, and hopefully this opens up your mind a little bit more to how to make things work. All right, so let's get started as we look here on paper. What a lot of people do when they look at Facebook ads, let's pretend this is your ad or campaign. Okay, so here we've got our ad campaign, and you might have a few different ads in here, but let's just say this is one big set. And what a lot of people do is, oh, okay, I did one campaign, and then the result is either you're a winner or you're not. It's either successful or you're not. And we think of things as a single event and a single occurrence. So a lot of people, what they do is, just not working out. So they're not a winner. So then they might try a second one. And then again, they do another ad or another series of ads, 4 or 5 different ads, kind of like what Facebook might recommend. And then again, you're either a winner or you're not. So now you've got a second series. And this is how most people think in terms of life. Okay, you go to school, and then you're either successful or you're not. So it's either a yes or no. And we think of it as a single occurrence. But the reality is when you look at things as a single occurrence, that's not the way that advertising works. And it's not the way that many things in your life could work. So what I'm talking about is certain other industries, and I'll give you some insight here on one of the ones that I also deal with quite a lot on, is the stock market. So here we're talking about the stock market. And you can see that I've got a couple of trades here that are also losers. But then you'll have some winning trades as well. So my point here is that when we look at the market, we look at it from a series of trades perspective. Okay, so out of maybe a handful of trades, I might have the first 4 that are losers. I have no idea if that's going to be the first 4, but I might have the next few that are winners. Okay, and when we look at advertising campaigns, it's not much different. You might have a different series where, you know, let's just say the first 3 advertising campaigns are pretty much losers. So we've got these 3 advertising ones, they're losers. And then the next few, okay, are winners. Okay, so it's the same thing. You have no clue though in that series. You don't know which ones are going to be winners or losers. You might have actually your first campaign is kind of like a winner, but then you might have a bunch of losing campaigns in between that. And then what people do is they give up by the 5th campaign, even though they had 1 successful and then 4 losers in a row. They give up right before they hit kind of the jackpot. Okay, so when you're looking at advertising, you kind of have to think in terms of series, really embracing it in terms of a series of campaigns. And in terms of those campaigns, there's also a series of ads. So that means that if you do, let's say 10 campaigns, eventually you'll come out on top. And you have to have enough money to be able to do that with multiple ads, with multiple campaigns, to be able to go through the series. That's the big difference. That's the aha moment of shifting it, rather than what people do is, oh, I'll try a little bit of ads, so then they try one, it kind of didn't work. Let me try again. Okay, it didn't work. I try a 3rd time, okay, and then it might have kind of worked, but didn't really work. It's not really worth the time, so no, I probably won't do these again. And the fact is the first few, you're probably just learning more about the platform. You're not even really, optimizing things. You're not really understanding how things really flow and function. By the time you get to the 5th or 7th one, that's when you're really actually using the platform as is. But that's when you start your series. And your series of events, your campaigns, as you get through it, try and look at it from a series of maybe 10 or 20 occurrences. And if you look at it this way, now you know, oh, okay, well, is it going to be a loser over here and a loser here and a loser here and a loser here? So you don't know which ones are going to be losers, but eventually you might have a couple that are winners. And if you just have a few that are winners, okay, then you might actually come out on top, and some might be like scratch ones where, hey, they didn't really produce much. So there's variations to the sequence that's going to occur and happen. Every audience is different. But what most people don't get is that they look at this as kind of a single event. They look at Facebook ads as a single approach. Hey, let me do some ads. Oh, it worked. It didn't work. It worked. It didn't work. But they're not thinking about things like a series. And that's because a lot of our lives are set up. It's you're either successful or you're not. It either worked or it didn't. And that's how we're trained. But advertising is different. Advertising is completely different. It's based on looking at a series of different ads. Some will work, some will not. But you know that in the long run, if you can get, let's say you're blowing $5,000 on ads and you did like 15 ads. Well, maybe eventually by the time you get to the next one, by ad number 20 or 25, maybe you blew a bunch of money, but that next one that actually is successful, it could make you $75,000. So is it worth the $10,000 you spent? Yeah, probably. The downside with advertising is most people don't have enough cash or capital to get through the series, or they don't want to. They get too scared, they stop the ads, they don't let them work long enough, they're fearful of it. You gotta let the ads run their course. So anyways, I hope you find this helpful and insightful and gives you some things to think about, because really in terms of the psychology behind it, it's very similar to some of the other things that I do in terms of stock trading and option trading on my other channel. But you have to think about it in terms of a series of events. It's not just a single ad, successful or not. It's about having multiple ads, seeing which one's working, and then tweaking those things over and over again. And that's what most people don't get. So if you can shift that mindset and think about it, hey, I know that probably in a set of 20 ads, I'll get maybe 3 that are successful, or 4 or 5, and those are the ones that are really going to pay for the other 10 or 15 that aren't successful. And now I'll build more clients and so on and so forth. And I'm using that revenue now to drive more ads and optimize new ads and continue to find and discover ads that are working. So that's the better approach. So thanks for joining me. I hope you find this helpful. Check out our website at backstageincome.com, and I will see you in the next video.